Money.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts! Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again! Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. How is everyone doing today? I am Tech Coach Ralph. We are Engineered to Win. Today is Saturday, October 12th, 2024. This is the Men Lie, Women Lie, Numbers Manipulate show. This one. How is everyone doing today? How is everyone doing? Good morning to you, Mr. King Tech Pookie. Your car in the building already. How are you doing, your car? Right now, it is 6:24 a.m. for my guy, your car over there on the West Coast as he wakes up. But we're here. Where is my guy, Mitch, the second, or maybe the first? I don't know. You guys figure it out. But the co-host of the show. This show is co-hosted by Yakar and my guy, my best friend of all time, Mitch, from the chat. Welcome. We have a lot of good things to talk about today. But do me a favor before we go any further. If you haven't done so already, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. Hit the notification bell so you can know every time that we go live and drop new content. We go live a lot. Check out techcoachralph.dev. You can sign up for free. There's a bunch of free content over there, as well as some tiered content. We have content from our sprint reviews. I uploaded the other day how I was breaking down how story pointing works. We have like how to use LinkedIn, how to use Glassdoor, how to use AI to your advantage, how to prepare for interviews, the right questions to ask in interviews, so many different things. And you can also sign up to work with me one-on-one for one-on-one coaching where we can work together. I will give you some tricks and tips. I will keep you accountable so that you can be successful in this tech field or any career that you're looking to go into, all right? So with that being said, we are going to get started today. Well, let's do a little bit of an icebreaker to get us, to get the show started, for us to get loose and ready to jump into all this economic data, all right? So we're going to start off like this, right? We're going to start off like this. I saw this on X the other day, and I found it absolutely hilarious, all right? So it says, men simply are not built to care, or men simply are built to not care, or not to care, whatever, all right? So let's watch this, all right? Let's watch this.
How old is your child?
He is 29, 28.
27. Does your son have any allergies?
Not that I know of. You do?
Penicillin.
Oh my gosh, are you kidding me?
Can you name your son's girlfriend?
Bianca?
No.
Brielle?
No.
Brianna?
No.
Bobby, Bianca, Brielle? No, I said that. Oh, okay. Brenna. Sound familiar?
No.
All right, just one more time. Can we get your son's girlfriend's name?
Oh, I have no clue. No.
He just told you 2 minutes ago.
I know. Brianna?
No.
Brielle? No.
No.
This is a 5
Brenna?
Brenna, okay, Brenna. How old is your son?
Late 20s.
What is your son's fiance's last name?
Oh, it's going to be Gomez, but...
Yeah, that's what it is right now.
But I don't know.
Your son and his fiance, do they have a wedding date?
Yes.
What is it?
October 31st.
Are you getting married on Halloween?
No.
Can you get your wife in here to see if she does any better? When is your son's birthday?
August 23rd,
What's the name of your son's fiance?
Hernandez, Ariel Hernandez.
When is your son going to get married?
October 24th, 2025.
Can you name any of your son's teachers from when he was in school?
Second grade, I think, was Miss Burns. Several in high school, Mr. Green, O'Byrne, D's.
Yeah, I think that's enough.
I don't know what they expect of us. My mom, though, she would be able to answer all of these questions, but my dad, not so much. Me, not so much. We do what we can. We do what we can. But let's get the show started for today. All right. So, what do we have on our agenda for today? Let's take a look. So, we have the Federal Open Market Committee releasing the minutes from the policy setting meeting. We have our regular Department of Labor releasing the initial jobless claims. We have the Bureau of Labor Statistics with the Consumer Price Index. We have the Bureau of Labor Statistics with the Producer Price Index, and then we have the University of Michigan releasing the preliminary October consumer sentiment reports about how Americans are feeling about the future and the economic conditions. All right, so that is what we have in store for today. We also want to go over the Tesla event. I think we're going to do that first today, the Tesla event, because it was a bit intriguing. And then we're going to get into what are tariffs. I wanted to go over what should we tax unrealized capital gains, but we probably will have enough time for that. Let me put up the timer for today as well. Let's go with that one. Right, but we probably won't have the time to get into the tariffs or into the capital gains, so we will stop with that. All right, we might not even get time to get into the tariffs either, but if not, we'll push it over to next week. All right, but let's get started. So I do want to start off with the Tesla event because I think that was absolutely amazing. And also what we're going to do is I'm going to use a different timer today for each segment because this way I can control how much time we spend on what. I can easily adjust the timer, right? So we are going to kick it off with the Tesla event, all right? All right, so this happened like 2 days ago, something like that, where Tesla revealed their Cybercab, their van, and they showed the improvements that were made in the humanoid Optimus Gen 2 robots. So let's take a look at that.
Welcome to the Wii Robot Party. So we have quite a show for you tonight. I think you're gonna like it. As you can see, I just arrived in the Robotaxi, the Cybercab, and there's 20 more where that came from. So they've been traveling. There's no people in them, as you can see. The car's just going by with no people. And we have 50 fully autonomous cars here tonight. So you'll see Model Ys and the Cybercab, all driverless. You'll be able to take a ride in the Cybercab. There's no steering wheel or pedals. So I hope this goes well. I think the cost of autonomous transport will be so low that you can think of it like individualized mass transit. The average cost of a bus per mile for a city, not the ticket price because that is subsidized, but the average price is about $1 a mile. Whereas the cost of Cybercab, we think probably over time, from the operating cost is probably going to be around 20 cents a mile. And price, including taxes and everything else, probably ends up being 30 or 40 cents a mile. So yes, and you will be able to buy one. Yes, exactly. And we expect the cost to be below $30,000. We do expect actually to start fully autonomous, unsupervised FSD in Texas and California next year. And that's obviously with the Model 3 and Model Y. And then we expect to be in production with the Cybercab, which is really highly optimized for autonomous transport in probably, well, I tend to be a little optimistic with timeframes, but in 2026.
So here's a question, right? Would you ride, I just started a poll, would you ride in a fully autonomous car where you don't have to be the one driving, you can just do whatever it is that you want to do, focus on whatever it is you want to focus on, if you want to work, if you want to take a nap, would you ride in a fully autonomous car? That's what I'm wondering, and I'll share my thoughts after. But let's keep going.
So, yeah, before 2027. Let me put it that way. When you get in, you'll see like it's really quite a wild experience to just be in a car with no steering wheel, no pedals, no controls, and it feels great. Something we're also doing is, and it's really high time we did this, is inductive charging. So the robotaxi has no plug. It just goes over the inductive charger and charges. So yeah, it's kind of how it should be. Oh, and
so it's like you know how we have those wireless pads to charge our phone and stuff like that. It sounds like you just parked the Cybercab, the robotaxi, on top of the charging pad, and it's just gonna get charged. So pretty interesting. Pretty interesting. Did he say that you could actually like buy your own cyber taxi? I think he might have said that. I might have missed that. I'm not sure, but let's keep going. And he said something was under 30,000. I might have to watch this over again, but pretty cool.
Also, what happens if you need a vehicle that is bigger than a Model Y? The Robovan. The Robovan is we're going to make this, and it's going to look like that. Now, can you imagine going down the streets and you see this coming towards you? That'd be sick. So this can carry up to 20 people, and it can also transport goods. So you can configure it for goods transport within a city, or transport of up to 20 people at a time. So this is gonna, the Robovan is what's gonna solve for high density. So if you want to take a sports team somewhere, or you're looking to really get the cost of travel down to, I don't know, 5-10 cents a mile, then you can use the Robovan. Some people call it the Robovan, but speaking of robots, so everything we've developed for our cars, the batteries, power electronics, the advanced motors, gearboxes, the software, the AI inference computer, it all actually applies to a humanoid robot. It's the same techniques. It's just a robot with arms and legs instead of a robot with wheels. And we've made a lot of progress with the Optimus. And as you can see, we started up with someone in a robot suit, sort of down, and then we've progressed dramatically year after year. So if you extrapolate this, you're really going to have something spectacular, something that.
Another question: would you get one of these Tesla Optimus Gen? What is it called? Humanoid Optimus Gen 2 robots? Would you get one of those? That's another question.
Anyone could own. So you can have your own personal R2-D2 C-3PO. And I think at scale, this would cost something like, I don't know, $20,000, $30,000. Probably less than a car is my prediction long term. Now, it'll take us a minute to get to the long term, but fundamentally at scale, the Optimus robot, you should be able to buy an Optimus robot for, I think, probably $20,000 to $30,000 long term. So, and what can it do? It'll basically do anything you want. So it can be a teacher, babysit your kids. It can walk your dog, mow your lawn, get the groceries, just be your friend, serve drinks. Whatever you can think of, it will do. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. And I think this will be the biggest product ever of any kind.
So, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts? We got Alexis in the building saying good morning. Good morning to you as well, Alexis. How are you doing today? We got my guy in the building, the one and only Mr. Rod Brown says, I'm getting iRobot vibes here. Shout out to Rod Brown, aka Mr. Tech Daddy in the building.
We the best.
However, Tech Daddy says, nope, 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 no robots for him. No robots for you? How about the cybercab? How about the self-driving car? What do you think, Rob Brown? Self-driving car, an EV. What do you think? Let me see. Alexa says that's where I draw the line. Where do you draw the line? Is it at the robot you draw the line, or is it at the self-driving car? Is it at which one? And your car says no. Robert says, I'm old school. I can drive myself. All right, cool. I hear you. Well, I'm gonna give my perspective. Right, I'm gonna give my perspective. I would 100%. I would 100% get me one of these cyber cabs, or I mean, maybe even like one of those fully autonomous cars, and because I don't like driving because I feel like I'm wasting a bunch of time, right? And there is so much more I can be doing. I can actually take a nap. I could continue to work and code. I could even live stream. While my car is driving me around. Ron says, someone could hack the self-driving car and cause me to crash. I mean, I am pretty sure in the long run, right? These self-driving cars are going to be way safer than the people you have driving out there on the street. Because guess what? There goes the end of drunk driving. And he might take a nap and wake up in the upper room. Don't threaten me with it. Yeah, like I'd rather me personally, you guys know how much I value time. I'd rather be able to outsource the other stuff, like driving, and then have something else do it for me, right? I don't mind. I would. I mean, already they have the robo taxis in California, in certain parts of California, and the accidents that have been happening, they've actually been caused by other people. But you know, they're still refining the technology. I've seen a lot worse accidents by, although the amount of data that exists based on the self-driving cars, they're not there. Like, it's not there yet to compare to human drivers, but I trust robots way more than I trust humans. I'm just saying, all right? Especially if you see like just the way that humans operate, right? Just the way that human operates. Alexis says that she draws the line at the robot. You know, I am way more excited for the robot than I am for the self-driving car, because one thing is, I can make sure that the robot always shows up to stand up. I'm just saying, right? I'm just saying. And there's so many little things that you have to do here and there that it takes away from the things that you really, really want to do, right? So if I could, I would get like 4 of these robots, right? So if they cost 20 to 30,000, that's about like 80 to 80 to like $100,000 to $100,000 to get 4 of these robots. And then now I have one robot that's gonna be cleaning the house. I mean, it could probably do all of it, but one that can be like doing code reviews, one that can be doing housework. Just different. Man, don't. I would. And here's the thing, right? Here's the thing. I'm definitely like even if it turns out that I don't like it, right? I'm still gonna try it out. And here's the thing. Here's the thing with this, right? It reminds me of how fearful people were with cars, with like the on the factory line where they have like to keep things moving. The Industrial Revolution. All these things. It just reminds me like of how people are so, like even now with the dock workers, no automation. Rod Brown, you're a developer, right? You're a developer. What if they said, you know what? I don't trust these like VS Code, these what do they call them again? These SDK tools, right? I don't trust like the WebStorm, the PyCharm, the VS Code, the Dreamweaver. Remember Dreamweaver back there? And now we have AI. Oh no, I don't trust AI. I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna try it. I'm gonna know it, and because that might be the pivot. That might be the pivot. I'm just saying. That's my take on it. That is totally my take on it. All right, let's finish this up. Let me read the chat and see where we go from there. All right, so Rob Brown says, I appreciate the advancement of technology, but I also think about the security of things. Hey, you just gotta lock it down. I mean, everything has security risk at some point. It says your car don't drive for that exact reason. My driver is happy in traffic while I sleep and work. He's human and will remain human. Who do you sue when you lose your arm and your legs in the robo taxi? We'll cross that bridge when we get there, right? We'll cross that bridge when we get there. At that point, maybe just get one of those Neuralinks, and then that takes care of that, right? So just it says, I'm not trying to go to sleep, then wake up to my robot choking me out. So fearful. And my guy Mitch is in the building. Says, achoo, bless you, Mitch, bless you. And says, nope, that little vacuum cleaner hockey puck won't even make it into my house. I'd be damned if I let a full-size adult robot in my house. Hey, you guys, that's you guys. Ralph is about to wake up dead. It is what it is. It is what it is. If you guys hate it, then it is what it is. But I am going towards the future, right? I'm still waiting for my flying cars and for you guys remember The Fifth Element? I never really watched that movie, but I remember they had flying cars in that movie, right? Anyways, that takes care of that. All right, so we're gonna get into our next topic of the show. We're gonna get into the Federal Open Market Committee. So, Rob Brown says, I'm not fearful, just not letting a robot send me to that room. All right, so basically you're saying that you're not fearful, you're just terrified. Gotcha. We got you, Rob Brown, we got you. Your car says, this is nothing like cars. You control cars. This thing you don't control. This could see you're voting for Trump and drive you to a slave camp built by Dems, never to be heard of again. Okay, cool. Anyways, that's enough of that topic. We'll figure it out. We'll see, right? We'll see. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. Anyways, let's get to our next topic. I'm going to put 10 minutes for this next one. Let's go to... All right, so we are going to get into this, the Federal Open Market Committee, all right? Let's start our timer. And we have our Urban Dictionary. So I reverted it back. I figured out what the issue was on Thursday, but I reverted it back just so we can use it today. Let's go with federal. See if we get the right one. All right. So Federal Open Market Committee. The source of the data is the Federal Reserve. All right, so let's go through this real quick. Actually, let me pull this up, right? So before we do that, let's read this, right? The numbers to watch for this week. Inflation is back in focus this week with price growth forecast to continue cooling. The consumer price index likely rose at an annual rate of 2.3% in September, down from 2.5% in August. According to the Federal Reserve Bank of Cleveland's nowcast, slower inflation would support the view that the central bank can afford to keep lowering interest rates, a path it embarked upon just a few weeks ago. With its first cuts in 4 years and by half a percentage point. A much hotter than expected payrolls report on Friday, however, has tempered expectations for more jumbo-sized cuts. All right, so we have the Federal Open Market Committee releasing the minutes of the committee's last policy setting meeting, which could provide clues on where the Fed stands on a current monetary policy and future interest rates decisions. Right, so. In our dictionary, what is the Federal Open Market Committee, right? So the FOMC is a group of, and I put this in quotations just for your car and Mitch, of important people from the Federal Reserve, which is like the U.S. banks, a bank for banks. They meet to decide things about money and interest rates to help keep the economy running smoothly, quote unquote smoothly. They haven't really done it in the past 4 years, but it is what it is. To keep the economy running. Did I start the? I didn't start the time. Did I? Yes, I did. All right, cool. They make sure prices don't go too high. That's called inflation. All right. So the important people made sure that prices don't go too high, but the prices for everything was up. So that's interesting. They meet to decide things about money and interest rates to help keep the economy running smoothly. Keep people working by helping businesses grow. Okay. What happens when the FOMC releases meeting minutes? The meeting minutes are like notes from a big class meeting that show what was discussed. They tell us what the FOMC think about the economy, like whether it's doing well or it needs help. If interest rates might go up or down in the future, things that affect this affects things like cars, loans, mortgages, and credit card payments. Plans for inflation control. They share if it's worried about price going up too fast. All right, so what should we expect? If the notes suggest the economy is slowing down, they might lower interest rates. This makes borrowing money cheaper, so people and businesses spend more. If the notes suggest the economy is too hot, with prices rising fast, they might raise interest rates. This makes borrowing harder, which slows things down to prevent inflation. When the minutes are released, investors and businesses pay close attention to figure out what might happen to the economy and plan ahead. So an example from the automotive industry, how does the FOMC affect the auto industry? When the FOMC releases meeting minutes, car companies, dealerships, and buyers pay attention because interest rates impact auto loans. The loans people use to buy cars. So let's go with this example, right? If the FOMC says the economy is slowing down, the FOMC might hint that they will lower interest rates to encourage more spending. The impact on auto industry: car loans become cheaper, banks lower interest rates, so people's monthly payments on new cars drop. More people buy cars. With cheaper loans, customers are more likely to buy a car they were hesitating on. Car dealerships benefit. Dealerships sell more vehicles because financing is more affordable. And manufacturers ramp up production. Companies like Ford or GM build more cars to meet increased demand. Let's see. If it says that inflation is too high, they might raise interest rates to slow down spending. Car loans become more expensive. Fewer people buy new cars. Car dealerships struggle. Manufacturers slow down production. All right. So let's jump into the, let me see, where is it? FOMC meeting minutes. Let's take a look at that real quick. Let's see. February. All right. We should be October release. All right, October. Let's take a look at that real quick. So these are long as hell. All right, let's see what we got. Let's see if we can find a summary from it. Hold on, let me see if I can find a summary from because I'm not gonna read this whole entire thing, right? Your car, if you have a well, your car is gone. I was gonna say if your car had a link, a video for the FOMC. Let's see if we can find something real quick. We can go. How long is this? All right, we can go with this one. Let's go with the CNBC video.
Welcome to Power Lunch.
Hold on, let me get that video up. Let's go to over here. There we go. Let me get rid of that one. All right, let's watch this one.
Welcome to Power Lunch. The minutes of the Fed September meeting show quite a bit of disagreement over the issue of 25 or 50, the 50 base point rate cut they ultimately agreed on. I'll get to that in a second. Let me show you first where they agreed. All participants agreed it was appropriate to ease. They judged it was appropriate to continue the process of reducing the funds rate. And if the economy evolved as expected, they said it was appropriate to move to a more neutral policy stance. Most saw policy as restrictive. They disagreed, however, over how restrictive to be. A substantial majority, it says, supported lowering the funds rate by 50 basis points. However, it did not say how many or what, but a substantial majority wanted the 50. Recalibrating policy, they said, would bring it into better alignment with the inflation and labor markets. Some, however, would have preferred 25, and a few others said they could have supported 25. So some plus a few, we don't know how many that is, but it was more than just the one dissent is what we're learning that supported just 25. Several noted that 25 would be in line with a gradual path of policy normalization. A few noted 25 would be more predictable. Now, on the economy, some worried there was differences here that probably reflected the differences over 25 or 50. Some worried that the easing in the labor market could transition, quote, to a more serious deterioration. Many saw the economy growing at trend over the next few years, and almost all saw diminished risk to inflation and downside risk to employment. Several worried about consumer spending from cooling of the labor market. Some were concerned the pace of hiring was not strong enough to keep the unemployment rate from rising. So this is all before that recent September employment report that we got in October. But so there's a lot of concern about the job market. Further labor market cooling was not needed to get to the 2% inflation target. And a couple people are concerned about upside inflation risk from geopolitical events, very much the way we heard this morning from Dallas Fed President Lori Logan. So guys, back to you. I think this 25 or 50 debate is something that could have an impact on future rate cuts. Going before the minutes, I haven't seen it since then. There was a 1 in 5 chance the Fed did nothing in the futures market for the November meeting. 20% probability of no cut in the futures market for November, guys.
So, Steve, let me just linger, if I might, for a second here. There was one dissent, but does that dissent necessarily mean that individual wanted no cut whatsoever, or was just adamant that they wanted a 25% basis cut and they weren't going to go for 50, like everybody else apparently did, even though some would have preferred 25?
Yes, Tyler, as usual, a pinpoint clarification question from you, sir. That dissent that was out there was for preferring a 25 versus a 50. And what we learned in these minutes, again, thanks for the chance to clarify, is that there were a bunch more people, we just don't know how many, that would have gone along with the 25 had it been apparently either the majority a decision out there or if they had their druthers. Remember, not everybody votes, only 12 of the 19 vote. So we know that 11 of the 12 voters supported it. It says a substantial majority supported 50. The question becomes, Tyler, how many folks are on the fence for the next 25? If you get, for example, tomorrow a higher than expected inflation print, if we get another strong jobs report, does that put more on the fence? Tyler, while I'm talking, I'm going to log into my computer, which of course I'm forbidden to do while I'm reading the minutes in lockup, but I'm going to give you a fresh quote as soon as I can on the probability. It doesn't look like it changed. It's still a 20% probability I'm seeing now of no change, an 80% probability of a quarter, and then going into the December meeting, an 85% probability of another quarter. So the market did not change based on these minutes, and I don't know if it should have or shouldn't have, but we do know there's a bit more support now, Tyler, than there was for just the 25 than we thought, either from the statement, the dissent, and from the press conference.
So it looks like that they are working towards doing another 50 basis points cut in the interest rate. It's just amazing on the timing, right? It is absolutely amazing on the timing. People have been suffering for the past few years now on the price of groceries, and we're going to see this, and we're going to take a look at the consumer price index a little bit later on. But everything has been more expensive, and all of a sudden, it's like, oh, light bulb moment. This is the perfect time for us to start cutting these basis points. All right. So let me check the chat before we move on to our next topic. Let me see. Your car is still talking about the driving car. The robotaxi will drive you to jail without your permission. Maybe you shouldn't have any warrants. Maybe you shouldn't be a criminal. I'm just saying. Get your warrants taken care of. Natural disaster happening. Robotaxi doesn't care. It'll drive you right off a cliff because its GPS can't tell when a road is. I mean, all right. Just because you have. All right, I have a really good friend of mine, right? He has like 5 cars, and he has 2 Teslas. Actually, no, he has 4 cars, actually, maybe 5. But he has 2 Teslas, and he has 2 gas-powered cars, right? And it's like he picks, like, he works really far, so he takes a Tesla to drive to work, and then sometimes he drives the Tesla to other stuff, but he also drives his other cars like to do other stuff. Like, I mean, it's. I don't like, you make it seem like, oh, we can only have this one car and then nothing else. I'm like, what? Like, if there's like a natural disaster, why would I take that car? Like, anyways, Mitch says, banks borrow money from the Federal Reserves. That's why you never technically do business with the bank. You do it with the reserves. Oh, interesting. That deserves a message. But I'll leave that for another day. Food for thought. That's a great point, Mitch. We should talk about that one of these days. It says they lowered interest rates and mortgages went up. Make that math make sense. Your car says he wants to get some quick shots of espresso, and it says exact reasons why the prices went up. I got you, Mitch. It makes total sense. All right, let's get into our next topic of the day. Do me a favor though, as you make your way in, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time we go live and drop new content. All right, and check out techcoachralph.dev. See all the amazing content, exclusive content that we have over there, to help you level up in your career and in the tech space. All right. So let me reset this timer. And we're going to go to the next topic. Let me see what the next topic is. We have, so we'll take a quick, I'll put 10 minutes for this one. We're going to do the federal, so let's check this one off. We're going to do the Department of Labor releasing the initial jobless claims. We'll spend 10 minutes on that one, and then we'll continue. So let's start off the timer. And let's go to our dictionary. Let's search for jobless. All right, so weekly jobless claims. This is the Department of Labor's weekly initial jobless claims report. Is like a count of how many people asked for help because they lost their jobs and couldn't find work that week. So think of it as a school where every week some kids might get sick and need to stay home. The school keeps track of how many kids are out sick each week to see if the number is going up or down. In the same way, the government counts how many people are asking for help because they lost their jobs. This report helps us understand how the economy is doing. If more people are asking for help, it might mean there are fewer jobs available, and if fewer people are asking for help, it might mean there are more jobs available. So, an example from the trucking industry: every week, the U.S. Department of Labor counts how many people have recently lost their jobs and applied for government help, like unemployment benefits. These numbers are called jobless claims. It's like keeping track of how many truck drivers, warehouse workers, and others are out of work and need some financial help to get by. All right, so. Let's jump into let me see. Let's jump into this report. And we have, let's see, where is that? Close that. And we have our initial job. So, oh, I never saw this one before. Continuing jobless claims is 1,861 thousand, and or that's so it's like 1.8 million. And our initial jobless claims 258. Ooh, look at that. All right, that's gonna be a good one. That's gonna be a good one. So let me pull up this. Let's see, U.S. Department of Labor initial jobless claims. Boom. All right. So in the week ending of October 5th, the advanced figures for seasonally adjusted initial claims was 258,000, an increase of 33,000 from the previous week's unrevised levels of 225,000. This is the highest level for initial claims since August 5th, 2023, when it was 258,000. The 4-week moving average was 231,000, an increase of 6,750 from the previous week's unrevised averages of 224,250. So in a week, we went from 225 to 258,000 initial jobless claims. So it looks like 258,000 people filed for unemployment or lost their jobs this past week. Well, not this past week, but the week prior, week ending of October 5th, right? The advanced seasonally adjusted insured unemployment rate was 1.2% for the week ending of September 28th. Pretty much that hasn't changed. But I can't wait until we see for the week ending of October 5th, because that's a big 30, like an increase of 33,000. Good Lord, that's a big number, right? Let me see. I'm not gonna go into these specific numbers, but look at that. So, and if we look at Bloomberg again, right? If we look at Bloomberg, Bloomberg said that the forecast was 231K. It was 225K last week. It went up to 258,000. Bruh. That is a lot. Let me see. Let's go. All right, so let's keep going. Unadjusted data. The advanced actual understate programs is 234,780. An increase of 53,000 or 29.6% over from the previous week. Jeez. That is huge. Let me see. There were 199,743 initial claims in the comparable week in 2023. All right, let's see. So let's go down to the total number of continued weeks for benefits in all programs for the week ending of September 21st was 1,673,000, a decrease of 14,701. Let's see. All right, so the highest insured unemployment rates in the week ending of September 21st were in New Jersey, 2.2, California, 2.0, Puerto Rico, 1.9, Rhode Island, 1.8, Washington, 1.7, Nevada, 1.6, Massachusetts, 1.5, New York, 1.5, Illinois, 1.4, Connecticut, 1.3, and Pennsylvania, 1.3. All right. The largest increase in initial claims for the week ending of September 28th were in Michigan, 1,187, Washington, 892, Indiana, 657, California, 638, and Iowa, 568. While the largest decreases were in Georgia, Florida, Texas, Virginia, and New York. All right. So that is our initial jobless claims for the week. I'm very curious to see what the percentage, the unadjusted percentage, is going to be at the for next week. All right, for next week. Which reminds me, next week I might end up doing the show on Friday night, because Saturday I'm going to be busy out at a competition and I don't know what time I'm going to be fighting. So I might just push the show to Friday night next week. So we shall see. Mitch says your boy got a shout out on another page free season, free agent season. All right. What page was that, Mitch? What page did you get a shout out on? Not that I necessarily care, but just I just want to celebrate you, Mitch. I just want to celebrate you. I am gonna say, you are under a non-compete agreement, right? Remember that. But I am excited for you. I wish you the best in all your endeavors, Mitch. In all your endeavors, you know. I might be willing to let you out of your non-compete. Maybe, but maybe not. We shall see. All right, we shall see. All right. Let's continue on with the show. Let me see. All right, next up we got that one done. We got the Bureau of Labor Statistics will release the monthly consumer price index for September, which measures inflation through the price of goods and services. So I'm going to set this timer for a 15 minutes. Let me see. Let's see. 15 on the CPI. And let's get it started. So, what is the CPI? So, Consumer Price Index. It comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. And so, the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, is like a price report card for everyday things you buy, like groceries, gas, clothes, and even rent. Imagine you make a shopping list of all the stuff you need. The CPI keeps track of how much that list costs over time. So here's how it works. So think about it as you have a shopping basket. It's a big shopping basket filled with all the stuff people usually buy. The government checks the price of these items regularly, compare the prices. They compare today's prices with the prices from the past to see if things are getting more expensive or cheaper. So if the CPI goes up, it means prices are rising and your money doesn't stretch as far. If it goes down, things are getting cheaper. Why does it matter? It affects how much money you need to live and how much you can save. It also influences things like wages, pensions, and even the economy overall. Basically, the CPI is a way to measure the cost of living and how it changes over time. Homework. So let's say let's an example as a homemaker, right? A stay-at-home mom. So let's say a stay-at-home mom manages the household budget. Here's how the changes in CPI could affect her. Groceries and household items. If the CPI shows that food prices have increased by 5%, she notices that the usual $200 weekly grocery bill now costs $210. To stay within budget, she might need to switch to cheaper brands. Like if you're at Walmart, you have to buy the cereal from the bottom shelf, the ones that are in the bag. So you can't even buy the cereal in the box. You have to buy the cereal in the bag, right? That's an example. If the price has gone up, she may look for sales, thrift stores, or secondhand clothing to dress the kids for the school year. Childcare costs for occasional use. If the CPI indicates that daycare or babysitting costs are increasing, it might impact how often she can hire a sitter for errands or personal time. Transportation. If the CPI shows gas prices are rising, the mom may need to drive less or plan trips more efficiently, like combining errands into one trip to avoid overspending on fuel. Or you can also get a Tesla, and you can have it self-drive you around, and you can charge it. My friend who told me about my friend who has a Tesla, right? He told me with with FPL Florida Power and Light down here that if you charge, it's kind of like back in the days when after 9 o'clock you would after 9 o'clock you'd have unlimited minutes, right? So after 9, you can charge your cars, and it doesn't. I think you pay like, I don't know, $20, $30 a month, something like you pay whatever it is you pay a month for it, and it doesn't cost you. And like I was saying, my friend drives a lot, so his bill used to be like $300 a month more when he with his car, but now it doesn't go up because of that. So pretty interesting, right? So electricity and utilities. If the CPI reveals the utility costs have increased, she might find herself adjusting the thermostat or switching to more energy efficient practices to save money. So why does the CPI matter to her? The CPI affects household expenses and helps her plan the family budget. She can anticipate which items will cost more and adjust spending habits, save for the future. If prices are rising, she might cut unnecessary expenses to build a saving cushion. Make smarter shopping decisions. By paying attention to sales or discounts, she can stretch the family's budget even further. So in short, the CPI helps a stay-at-home mom understand rising costs and adjust the household budget to ensure her family stays comfortable even when prices change. All right, so that is a explanation and a breakdown of the CPI. We got my guy Slimmy in the building. What's good, Slimmy? Slimmy says, let me see what Slimmy says. Slimmy says, no autonomous cars for him. Not happening. What's good with you, Slimmy? Happy to have you here.
I appreciate you.
Your car says facts. Everyone is entitled to do what they want to do, but I have no problem riding in one of those cars while I'm getting work done, while I'm getting some rest, because I'm a busy person. I am a busy person. Let me see. All right, we'll come back to the chat after we're done reviewing the CPI. All right, I just wanted to acknowledge my guy Slimmy real quick. So let's get into the CPI information. So let me see. CPI. Let's get to this, right? So the year-over-year forecast was 2.3. It actually went up to 2.4, and month-over-month, let's see, not much of a change. So, but let's take a look at it, right? So we have that. Yeah, does it show? Oh, let me adjust the screen real quick. All right. Let's see. So this was released October 10th, and it says the consumer. All right. The consumer price index for all urban consumers increased by 0.2% or a seasonally adjusted basis. The same increase as in August, so it didn't really change much. The index shelter rose 0.2%. The index for shelter rose 0.2% in September, and then the index for food rose 0.4%. Shelter and food cost a little bit more, but not by that much, 0.4% and 0.2%. Together, these two indexes contributed to over 75% of the monthly all item increases. The food at home index increased by 0.4% in September, and the food away from home rose by 0.3%. So your car's golden eggs are getting a little bit more expensive in the past couple of months, right? The energy index fell by 1.9% over the month. I must say, I have seen my electricity bill declining even during the summer season, which is very, very rare. Normally they would be going up. So, but my electricity bill has been going down. So that's I am happy to see that. But if it can get cut by 50%, oh my God. I would kill to see my electricity bill be cut in half by 50%. I'm just saying. Not literally. Like, just saying. All right. Let's see what else we have. The index for all items less food and energy rose 0.3% in September. As it did in the preceding months. Indexes which increased in September include shelter, motor vehicle insurance. Oh my God. Like, these past few years, the car insurance has been crazy. It makes me so mad how much. And you know what? And while our motor vehicle insurance is rising, they're just.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
It is what it is, right? We all suffer. So, let me see what else we have. Let me see. All right, the index for all items, that's all right. Motor vehicle insurance and medical care, apparel, and airline fares. Do you guys know how expensive bathing suits are actually? It's like the less material it takes to make clothes, the more expensive it gets. It's crazy. I'm shocked at how expensive bathing suits can be. Women's bathing suits are that, right? Women's bathing suits. I don't think men's bathing suits cost that much. Although they're more material. I'm just saying. All right. Apparel and airline fares. So plane tickets got more expensive. The indexes for recreation and communication were among those that decreased over the month. All items rose 2.4% for the 12 months ending in September, the smallest 12-month increase since February 2021. All items less food and energy rose 3.3 over the last 12 months. So all items without food and energy, they went up in the past year. The energy index decreased 6.8% for the 12 months ending September. The food index increased 2.3% over the last year. Let's see. Let's see. Items. So there's not much change from last month. The food index increased 0.4% in September after rising 0.1% in August. So it's a bigger increase since August. The index for food at home also rose 0.4% in September. 5 of the 6 major grocery food groups indexes increased over the month. No, they did not increase. It is just price gauging that is happening. It's just price gauging. It is price gauging that is happening, right? It did not increase. They are just artificially increasing the prices. The index for meat, poultry, fish, and steak rose 0.8% in September as the index for eggs increased 8.4%. The index for eggs increased 8.4%. I know your car is grabbing is holding his heart right now. It's like not my eggs, 8.4%. Oh my God. The fruits and vegetables index increased 0.9% over the month, following a 0.2% decline in August. The index for food at home rose 0.2% in September, and the index for cereals and bakery products increased 0.3%. The dairy and related products index increased 0.1% over the month, while non-alcoholic beverages index was unchanged in September. Let me see. The index for food away from home rose 0.3% as it did in August. The index for full service meals rose 0.4%. That's that 20% extra extra 20% that they add. And the index for limited services meals rose 0.2%. All right, enough about food. Let me see. Energy index fell 1.9 after declining 0.8. So gasoline index decreased 4.1%. Let me see. The energy index decreased 6.8% over the past 12 months. Let me see. All items less food. Let's see. Anything special? The motor vehicle insurance index rose 1.2% in September. That really grinds my gears. Let me see. The medical care index increased 0.4% after declining in the previous 2 months. All right. Let me see. The index for apparel increased 1.1% over the month. I mean, how does it increase during the summer? When you wear less clothes during the summer, that's when it goes up. That's crazy to me. The indexes for education, household furnishings, and personal care, used cars and trucks, new vehicles also increased in September. Recreation fell, following a 0.1% decrease. Communication index decreased. The index for, all right, whatever. That's good enough. That is good enough. Let's go back to full screen. Let's see what the chat has to say. It says the dollar store already went from $1 to $1.25, and some items $5 now. I agree, Mitch. I agree. Mitch says that I can't stand. What do you got against Slimmy, Mitch? Slimmy is the nicest person. Why can't you know what? Take it back. You can stand Slimmy. Slimmy is my friend, and you are not going to be attacking Slimmy like that. All right, Mitch. I'm just saying. No, Mitch. That's not happening. All right, no Slimmy slander here. Okay. $5 should be illegal for a dollar store. It's called the Dollar Zone now. The Dollar Zone. It says, "Are you getting one?" I would do it. I would do it depending on the price. Right? But I would do it because I hate driving. I hate driving. I hate driving and I hate other people driving me. It's crazy, right? It's crazy. It's crazy that I hate other people driving me, but I'd let a robot drive me. But at this moment in time, I trust robots more than I trust humans. All right. That's just me. I just trust robots way more than I trust humans. Ralph gets mad if you don't agree. I don't get mad at all. I mean, I am a joyful warrior, right? Remember that? What happens to the joyful warriors? I am a joyful warrior, and I do not get mad when people are wrong. People have the freedom to be wrong. I only don't like when people complain. That's all. We've been guilty of that once or twice. He hates me. No, Mitch, you're my bestest friend in the whole wide world. Alexa says, you sound like the grouchy old man. Car insurance, I mean, have you guys checked your budget recently? Like, have you seen how far your money goes? You would be upset too. If you saw how far your money was going nowadays. Mitch says, supply and demand. That's why they know if they don't have money for the bathing suits, they will find the money. Ooh, Mitch is calling them out. It says that he needs anger management. Maybe not. He's talking about, I'm pretty sure he was talking about Slimmy. Your car. I'm pretty sure because Mitch as my best friend would not say something like that about me. So I'm pretty sure he was talking about Slimmy, but still no Slimmy slander at all here ever. All right. I'm just saying. Let's get it. Alex, I know your car knows that he's talking about Slimmy, but we don't do that over here, right? Slimmy is my guy, and Mitch, behave, Mitch, behave. All right. Even as my best friend Mitch, I'm still going to say that there's some things you cannot say, and that one saying mean things about Slimmy, we don't do that here, right? I'm just saying, all right? So, let's continue. I can't believe you guys. All right. What do we have next? Mitch says Slimmy is my friend. Mitch, you're my friend. Mitch, you're actually my best friend, Mitch, in the whole wide world. All right, so let's continue on with the show. Let me stop the clock. And we have next up on the screen. So we got through this one. We have the producer price index. So the Bureau, it's a gauge measure the price of domestic producers for their output. So we're going to do another 15 minutes on this one. And let's go to what does the producer price index tell us? So let's type in producer. My search is working pretty good. So it also comes from the Bureau of Labor Statistics. So the producer price index is similar to the consumer price index, but instead of tracking the price of things people buy, it tracks the price that businesses pay to make those things. So it says, imagine a factory making sneakers. They need materials like rubber, fabric, and labor. The PPI tracks the prices of these materials and services. Just like the CPI, the Consumer Price Index, which we just reviewed, the Producer Price Index, the government checks the prices of these materials and services regularly. The companies, they compare today's prices with prices from the past to see if the costs of businesses are going up or down. If it goes up, that means it's costing the businesses more to produce things. If it goes down, that means the costs are decreasing. Why does it matter? When production goes up, the businesses might raise their prices to cover these costs, which can eventually lead to higher prices for consumers. So PPI can be an early indicator of inflation, showing how the prices of raw materials and production might affect the prices we pay in stores later on. So let's continue with this homemaker example in the producer price index part of it, right? So a homemaker manages the family household budget. Here's how changes in the PPI, the producer price index, could affect her. So grocery prices. If the PPI for food production rises for things like grains, dairy, or meat, the homemaker will see higher grocery bills over time as stores pass on the increased cost. For example, bread might become more expensive if the price of flour goes up at a wholesale level. To adjust, she may start meal planning more carefully, buying in bulk, shopping at Costco, Sam's, or not Walmart, BJ's, or switching to store brand products. Like I said, the bottom shelf, right, where they have the cereal in the bags. They have like the great value. So instead of getting what's that brand of bread, like Nature's Made or the other one, or getting that the special bread with the little flakes of, you know, the whole brand, whatever the brands are called, right? They might just have to get the great value, or they won't shop at Target. They might have to go to the Dollar Tree or Dollar General or Family Dollar to get bread from there, as opposed to get it from like a Publix or a Target or a wherever, you know? So let's see. Household cleaning products. If the PPI for chemicals increase, manufacturers producing cleaning supplies like detergent, dish soap, or disinfectants may raise their prices. The homemaker may need to buy in bulk, look for discounts, or switch to homemade cleaning solutions like vinegar and baking soda to save money. Check out the app Flip, by the way. They pretty much aggregate all of the circulars, the store circulars, furniture and appliances. If PPI for raw material like wood, steel, or plastics increase, the price for furniture or kitchen appliances might rise at retailers. She might delay buying new appliances or furniture and instead try to repair what she already owns. Clothing and shoes. If the PPI for textiles like cotton or synthetic fibers rises, clothing manufacturers may increase prices. As a result, buying clothes for the family becomes more expensive. The homemaker may shop during sales or visit thrift stores to manage clothing costs, right? So we see how the PPI affects the CPI. And then electricity and utilities. If the energy producer price rises, the cost of electricity and gas used at home might increase. She might need to conserve energy by adjusting the thermostat, using energy efficient bulbs, or cutting back on appliance use. All right, so why PPI matters to a homemaker. Early warnings for rising prices. If PPI rises, it's a signal that higher retail prices may go up. Adjusting the household budget. She can plan ahead by cutting unnecessary spending, unnecessary expenses, and stocking up before prices rise. Finding alternatives. By being aware of PPI changes, she can prepare for higher costs and look for deals, substitutes, or DIY. I remember a friend of mine used to be like big into couponing. Like, you should have like stacks and stacks of stuff, like basing on all that stuff, right? I never really got into that because I don't have the patience for it. All right, cool. So let's get into this report. So we are looking at the PPI. It did not change at all. It was forecasted at 0.1. The previous was 0.2, but it stayed exactly the same. So let's go and check that out. The producer price index for final demand was unchanged in September. Seasonally adjusted, the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics reported today. Final demand prices advanced 0.2% in August and were unchanged in July. On an unadjusted basis, the index for final demand rose 1.8% for the 12 months ending in September. Within final demand in September, a 0.2% increase in index for final demand services offset a 0.2% decline in prices for final demand goods. Let me see. Final demand. So final demand is the final product. Let's see. The index for final demand services moved 0.2% in September after rising 0.4% in August, leading to the broad-based increase in September. Prices for final demand services, less trade, transportation, warehousing advanced 0.1%. The indexes for final demand trade services for the final demand transportation and warehousing services rose 0.2%. And 0.3% respectively. Always remember respectively and respectfully. You can say whatever you want after that with all due respect, right? Trade, all right, so product detail, 0.3 is 3% increase in index for deposit services. All right, so let's go to, let me see. Intermediate demand. Within intermediate demand, in September, prices for processed goods declined 0.8%. The index for unprocessed goods fell 3.2%, and prices for services moved up 0.2%. So the prices for unprocessed goods are going down, but the prices for services are going up. Processed goods for intermediate demand. The index for processed goods for intermediate demand moved down 0.8% in September, the largest decline since falling 1.4% in May. Let me see. Most of the September decrease are attributable to prices for processed energy goods, which dropped 4.7%. The index for processed materials, less food and energy, edged down 0.1%. In contrast, prices for processed foods and feeds rose 0.9%. All right, anything else? Let me see. So, product detail. Most of September's decrease in prices for unprocessed goods for intermediate demand can be traced to the index of crude petroleum. So pretty much gas prices fell, energy prices fell, which fell 16.7%. Prices for ungraded chicken, slaughter steer, and heifers, coal, fresh vegetables, except potatoes, and recyclable papers also moved down. So that means your car's eggs might be coming a little bit cheaper soon. Conversely, the index for slaughter poultry advanced 5.8%. Prices for nefarious or non-ferrous metals, ores, and for natural gas also increased. All right. Let me see. Services rose 0.2%. Let's see. Anything else over here? I think that's good. Yeah, I think that's good. All right, let's move on. I think we're good with that. Let's keep going. All right. Let me see the chat real quick, and then we'll move on. It says he knows he is just gaslighting. I don't know what you're talking about. No idea. Only buy Dave's Killer Bread. Way better for you. How much does Dave's Killer Bread cost? Guess what? I don't even eat bread, so I don't even think about buying bread because I don't eat bread. So that's good. That's to me the best thing is not to eat it at all. Right? So let me see. But how much? You know what? Now you got me curious. Let me see. What is Dave's Killer Bread? And I don't know if I want to eat something with the name that has killer in it. Right? Killer Bread. Let's take a look at that. I've seen this bread before. I think I've tried it before. $6 for a loaf of $6 for a load of bread. What? It's a lot of money. That is a lot of money. All right. Let's see. But I think I've tried this bread before. But I don't eat bread anyway, so it's nothing that comes across my radar. Let's see. Your car says heifer. That was my homie on Rocco's Modern Life. Then you grow up to find out. Crazy. It is what it is. It is what it is. All right. All right, cool. Let's continue on with our next topic. What is a heifer? What is a heifer? Heifer. How do you spell it? Heifer. Let's define heifer. Why is it giving me this? So a heifer heifers are female cows who have not yet given birth to a calf. So it's a pregnant cow, a pregnant female cow. Farmers can raise heifers for dairy or for meat. In 1830s, heifer, which is pronounced heifer, was first used as slang for what? That is so disrespectful. Since then, took a meaning of oh my god, that is so oh my god, that is so rude, unkind. All right, well now we know. So your car is so bad. It says you don't eat cheeseburgers. I eat burger patties and cheese. I do not eat the bread. All right. So yeah, I don't eat bread. I don't eat bread. So your car says number 91 is Lumpy typing for your car all right. Let's bring up Lumpy. Let's bring Lumpy to the front of the congregation real quick. Where is Lumpy? Lumpy? Lumpy, are you typing on for your car? I think Lumpy might be typing for your car. You might have to, you might have to see what Lumpy is doing. What Lumpy is doing. All right. Number 91. I don't know what's going on over there. Let's see. Let me take Lumpy down. All right. It says, I don't eat bread. I mean, it says you eat patty and no bread. Yeah. Like, you know, you can go, you can go to like, what do you call it? Wendy's and stuff like that and say, can I get the Baconator without the bread? And they'll give it to you like that, you know? Just like, you guys never heard of that? Like, seriously? I'm the weird one. Okay. I guess I'm weird. Or maybe I'm a lot more advanced, right? Maybe I'm living in the future and you guys just haven't caught up yet. It says that was what, eating burgers with no bread, like not eating bread. You eat pork, but no, I don't. Yeah, I eat pork and I don't eat bread. Yep, just like that. Like I don't see what's crazy about that, but whatever. I don't eat bread. I don't like carbs. I don't like carbs. It says you are living in China. We cool over here.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
I don't know. But yeah, I don't see. Well, we'll see. We'll see in the long run. Right? It's funny. All right. Anyways, let's continue on. It says you don't like carbs, but I do. I do. I love sodium. I make my own electrolytes. I put salt in there, potassium, all that stuff. Heart problems coming soon. We'll see. We shall see. Cool. Anyways, this is not a health show, so I will let you guys be wrong on your own. And I don't talk nutrition because that is its own religion. And I don't get into religious topics. So let's continue on with the show. Let me set up my next timer. So the next one we're going to be talking about. The University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index. Let me stop this timer. We're going to reset that. We're going to move that to 10 minutes. All right. So let me start the clock. So the University of Michigan will release the preliminary reading of October Consumer Sentiment Index, which measures how Americans feel about current and future economic conditions. All right. So let's get into our dictionary. And we're just going to type in Michigan. All right. So the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index comes from the University of Michigan. All right. So the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index is a survey that asks people how they feel about the economy. It gathers information about what people think about their current financial situation, how they feel about spending money, and what they expect for the future. The survey results are combined into an index, which is like a score that shows whether people feel positive, negative, or neutral about the economy. This index is important because it helps us understand how confident people are about spending money. When people feel good about the economy and their own financial situation, they are more likely to buy things like clothes, gadgets, and cars, which helps businesses grow and creates jobs. If the index shows that people are worried, they might spend less, which can slow down the economy. Economists and government officials use this information to make decisions about things like interest rates and economic policies, helping them support a healthy economy. So Let's use an example from, let's say you are a union member. You better thank a union member working for the auto manufacturing industry. Let's say you're a UAW or a Teamsters member, right? So how does the University of Michigan Consumer Sentiment Index affect you? So let's say the demand for cars, let's see. So demand for cars and production level, if consumer sentiment drops, people will be less willing to buy big ticket items like new cars. This can result in fewer orders for the factory, leading to a reduced work hours or temporary layoffs for union members or union workers. If the consumer sentiment index is high, it's a signal that consumers are confident and more are likely to purchase vehicles, meaning increased production and more work shifts. Job security and layoffs. When sentiment drops, auto companies may cut costs to prepare for a slowdown, which could lead to a temporary layoff or job cuts. Even though the union tries to protect jobs, there could be furloughs if demand stays low. When sentiment is high, automakers might increase hiring or offer overtime shifts, providing more job stability and income for union members. You better thank a union member. Negotiation and pay benefits. I think I might have chose this example just so I could see that. I could say that, right? Let's see. So, let's see. Negotiations and pay and benefits. If consumer sentiment is weak, automakers may argue against pay raises during union negotiations, citing reduced sales and the need to cut costs. When sentiment is strong, the union can make a strong case for higher wages, bonuses, improved benefits, knowing that the company is profitable due to increased vehicle demand. Impacts of union contracts. A low consumer sentiment index could affect contract negotiations as the company might be more resistant to granting higher wages or benefits, citing economic uncertainty. With a high sentiment, the union may demand better terms like cost of living adjustments or profit sharing bonuses, since companies benefit from increased consumer spending. And personal finances and spending decisions. Let's see. If the consumer sentiment index falls, the union member might cut back on discretionary spending like vacations and new gadgets, or prepare for potential job disruptions. When sentiment is high, workers may feel more secure and make larger purchases like home improvements or buy a Hellcat. All right. Cool. So let's jump into that sentiment index. Let me see. Where is that at? There we go. So, let me see. Let's go. Make sure it shows. It's cool. All right. So the sentiment for October is the index of consumer sentiment is 68.9. It was 70.1 in September. Last year, it was 63.8 around this time. So it is higher year over year, but it is lower than September. The current economic conditions, 67.2. It was 63.3, so it did drop a little bit currently, and it was 70.6 last year, so it dropped dramatically year over year. And then October, so then the index of consumer expectations, it is a little less than September of last month, but it is way higher by 22%, by 23% higher from year over year. So that's pretty interesting. Let's see. Survey of Consumer Director Joanne Su. Consumer sentiment inched down for a meager 1.2%, 1.2 index points in October, well within the margin of error. Following 2 straight months of gains, sentiment is currently 8% stronger than a year ago and almost 40% above the trough reached in June 2022. While inflation expectations have eased substantially since then, consumers continue to express frustration over high prices. Still, long-run business conditions lifted to its highest reading in 6 months, while current and expected personal finances both softened slightly. Despite widespread news coverage about the Middle East and Ukraine, few consumers connected these developments to the economy. Concerns over these conflicts climbed this month, but were relatively rare, mentioned spontaneously by less than 5% of consumers. While the upcoming election on the horizon, some consumers appear to be withholding judgment about longer-term trajectory of the economy. All right, so that is our consumer sentiment index. Mixed feelings for the most part. Let me see. Let's take a look at this image real quick. 2016. Let's see. The dark line is the year ahead inflation. Customers citing high prices for worse personal finances. So it's high here. So let me see. Percent of consumers citing high prices for worse personal finances. So all right, let's say 2014-ish, it was worse personal finances, and it was going down, and then 2016 all the way down to it was like pretty low for the percent of consumers citing high prices for worse personal finances. But then 2021, it had a big increase in the percent of consumers citing high prices for worse, and it's just been staying up. So so that's pretty interesting. All right, interesting information overall, right? So that is that. All right, cool. So let's go back to full screen. That is our consumer sentiment index. Let's see what's going on here. It says every show is a health show. If Rob doesn't want to talk about it, he says it's a religion. There's some stuff I don't talk about. I don't get into political discussions. I don't talk about religious discussions. I don't talk about nutritious discussions because everyone has their perspective. Everyone has their data, and everyone treats it as a religion. So that's why I don't get involved in those things because, like I said, people say, I'm like, I can see it one way, you can see it another way, and I'm not going to argue with people about that. Let's see. You write he DRG. I'm guessing that means he does. Or maybe it says, you're right. As soon as he doesn't, it's a religion, or I'm not reading that. It's just like I don't argue some things because like they're like I don't argue, right? I just look for the evidence and I go from there, right? Let me see. Let's see what else. And Lumpy is still typing. Let's bring Lumpy back up. Where is Lumpy? Shout out to Lumpy. All right. No, I do not talk about Kamala Harris. I laugh with Kamala Harris. And I quote her.
Do not come.
All right? But I do not talk about anybody, right? I don't talk about anybody.
I'm a knucklehead at times.
I just repeat the words that they say, but I don't talk about them. You know, I just have fun with them, right? I just have fun. That's just me. It says, but you argue with me. I'm confused. No. Well, wait, no, I do argue with you, right? But that's because you are my best friend. Shake your bake. And I want you to, I want the best for you, right? I just want the best for you, Mitch, right? It hurts my heart when I see you crashing out over people who do not do what's in their best interest. When you care more about them than they care about themselves, I'm like, you know what, Mitch, this is not for you. And that's because I care about you, Mitch. I don't want you to say,
I hate it here. I want to go home.
see? But you know what, Mitch, I won't even argue with you anymore. I will let you suffer. I will let you suffer. You know what? You're right, Mitch. You guys won. Even when you guys win, I win. All right, let's get into this last. We got a few minutes. All right, let's get into this. Let me see what else we got. Let me see. We are going into tariffs. Let me get this video real quick for our tariffs. And let me reset the timer. We'll do a 10 minutes on here, I guess. Let's go to
Welcome to Powell.
All right, so let's see what tariffs are, right? So this is a video I found, a whiteboard animation talking about what are tariffs.
A tariff is essentially a tax on goods and services that are imported. The purpose of a tariff is generally to protect the product or service that is domestically produced. Here are the basics of how a tariff might work. Let's imagine that country A produces widgets, and country B produces similar widgets. Country B is able to produce their widgets for $10 each, while in country A it costs them $14 to produce their widgets. Well, in an effort to get more business, the manufacturers in country B decide to sell their widgets in country A for just $13 a widget. As you can imagine, this isn't good for the manufacturers in country A. Now they can't sell their widgets for a profit. Well, business begins to slow for the manufacturers in country A, and because business is slowing, they must let go of some of their workers. Well, the government in country A doesn't like this, so they decide to impose a tariff on all widgets that are imported into country A from country B. They are going to charge $5 per widget to all imports. Well, now the manufacturers in country A are thrilled. They can sell their widgets for, let's say, $15 a widget, and the competitors in country B can't beat their price. So that is essentially how a tariff works. Now the real question is this good or bad? Well, for the widget manufacturer in country A, it's a great thing. They were losing money before with no real way to compete, but now they're selling their widgets again for a profit, and they can hire again and their business is growing. So what about potential negatives? Well, one potential negative is retaliation by country B. Perhaps country B is upset by this widget tariff, and perhaps they put their own tariff on, let's say, chickens that are imported into their country from country A. And also, let's imagine that there's a lot of chickens that get shipped from country A to country B. Well, this could be the beginning of a trade war. And although it often takes a long time for trade wars to play out, there tends to be many losers and only a few winners in a trade war. Another consideration is the end user. You might hear an argument saying something like that country A manufacturers were taken off the hook. Instead of country A manufacturers having to innovate or cutting costs to compete with the manufacturers in country B, instead the government stepped in. So what about the end user? The people or companies that bought those widgets before used to pay just $13 per widget, thanks to the imported widgets. But now it's costing them $15 a widget, which makes their expenses higher. So are tariffs good or bad? Well, you decide, since it seems that the answer to that question depends on who you ask.
Well, that's interesting. I'm sure it can go a lot deeper into that. But, we hear a lot about tariffs and stuff like that. And something that stood out to me and just watching that video is when they'll say, well, this country is putting in a tariff on a product that we're exporting here, right? And they have to put let's say 50%. So if something costs $100, then you also have to pay like an additional $50 or something like that, right? But then they say, well, and as the video was talking about, like in the trade war, when something is like when we are bringing it in and we don't charge anything on that, so it could cost cheaper for the people in the. So I mean, it's like. It's interesting because in this one, in like the country that charges the tariff, they're adding an additional tax, but I guess it also matters like what is the what is the reason behind it? Like, what is it being used for? And I don't know, Mitch. I'm curious. What do you think, Mitch? Tell us a little about tariffs, because I can see, like, in the video, I can see both sides to it. Like, you're costing your company. I mean, not your company, but you're costing your company. I keep saying you're costing your country, the people of your country, more for things that are being imported. I don't know. Let's see what your car says. Your car says, well, you don't impart tariffs because the cost is too low. You do it when it causes economic damage due to unfair practices. It stops exploitation of the market, or it would be one big race to the bottom. Okay, that's one perspective of it. Let me see. But yeah, I can see both sides too. I mean, just based off that like 3-minute video, I can see the arguments for and against it. I guess it depends on the purpose, like your car is saying, like what it is that you're using it for. But like, let's say you're something, like this country is flooded with, I mean, I guess the whole world is flooded with products, low cost products from China. But I guess there's also a quality aspect to it as well. I don't know. It's pretty interesting. It's pretty interesting. Let me see. Countries are supposed to work together and not against each other. I mean, in a magical world, I guess that's what they should be doing, But then again, you see how countries are supposed to work together. I think though countries are supposed to have their best interests, like the best interests for their country first, right? And if working with other countries is in the best interest of their citizens, then yeah.
It's real simple, B. It says wrap it up. Wrap that shit up, B.
But if working together goes against the best interest of your citizens, then I would say like you have to I mean, it's all about negotiation and stuff like that. It's all about negotiation. Your car says China's EVs are a perfect example. A perfect example of what in particular? Yeah, like what is the fair example that you're referring to, or what is the perfect example of the China EVs that you're referring to? Give us some additional context of that. Mitch says fair exchange, no robbery. Okay, gotcha. They didn't innovate. They just used government subsidies to drop the price and then flood your market, which would bankrupt your local EV company. Okay, got it. Makes sense. All right, cool. All right, that's all I got for today. That is all that I got for today. We're gonna wrap it up with that. Thank you guys so much. We got through everything today. We got through everything with perfect timing. Let me get rid of the clock. All right, you guys know what it is. We are gonna wrap it up. I will be back live tomorrow for our software explorations, continuing with DevOps, see where we're at with that. And let me see, your car has some more stuff to say. It says, you set up a trade agreement, so it becomes unfair when the other country tries to find a loophole to undercut your government. That's a good point. That is a great point. Yeah. That whole trading and stuff like that, like with countries, it's a bunch of stuff. So Mitch says, where is the party today? Well, I'm gonna go practice jujitsu with my friend for our upcoming competition. So that's where my party's gonna be at today. I'm sure you can find some mischief to get into up there in New Jersey, Mitch. But you do that, all right? So you guys know what it is. So the question, on your way out, like the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so you know every time that we go live and drop new content. And the question is,
Are you not entertained? Are you not entertained?
Is this not why you were here?
I had a great time. We learned a lot. We got through a lot of work. Alexis says she's going to a robotics competition. They're going to a robotics competition, but they do not want a Tesla robot. Make that make sense. I'm just kidding, Alexis. I'm just kidding. That's interesting though, because your kids can end up working for Tesla, building those robots, but say, no, I am not getting one of those. That's an interesting point. Let's say, but then again, you have those rappers who don't let their kids listen to their own music, so there's that. Let's see. All right, we're out, and you guys know, especially when it comes to the economy. Yesterday's price is not today's price. Today's price is certainly not tomorrow's price because
one more thing. Price of the brick going up.
The price of the brick is going up. And we got my guy Darcel in the building. Shout out to you, Darcel. We are just getting out of here. But welcome. Hopefully you have an amazing, amazing weekend. Alexa says that she definitely wants to build the robots. Is your daughter afraid of robots? Alexis, is your daughter afraid of robots? Let's see. But we're out. You guys have a wonderful, wonderful Saturday and a wonderful, wonderful rest of your weekend. This is Tech Coach Ralph. We are out.
You might think that getting into the IT field is impossible without a computer science degree, but Tech Coach Ralph is here to prove you wrong. Get ready for some jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into this lucrative industry. Listen up, tech enthusiasts. Are you ready to break through into the IT field, but feel like you need a computer science degree to make it happen? Think again. Tech Coach Ralph has some exclusive, mind-blowing secrets to share with you. Get ready to be blown away by his jaw-dropping revelations on how to break into the tech industry without a computer science degree. So get your notepad ready, because Tech Coach Ralph is going to change your life forever. Buckle up, because you're about to embark on a journey to success in the IT field.
I'm a knucklehead at times.